we get together. My cohort Julie is not here tonight. She actually just got done with a trip to one of our partners in a different state. And she just got home a little bit ago and getting a couple things cut up for some other partners. So it's just me tonight. But I am fired up. I'm excited to be here tonight. We've got a great topic that I think will be relevant to really anybody on this on the call tonight, or whether you're watching it live or recorded. It's a topic that I really think is interestingly enough, the more dynamic, the more technology based, the more web based, all these bells and whistles that we talk about, the more important our topic is tonight. Because what I'm going to be talking to you guys about in just a couple minutes is the importance of face-to-face. I mean, think about this. We're like in a world of technology, speed, internet, emails. I mean, faxes are even becoming obsolete because it takes too long. Instant messages. If you need any information, you're no longer calling a person. You now are calling, or you're now going on the internet. I mean, you're doing your research right there, and everything is at the fingertips, and you can get different points of view. So what that makes it seem like is that the live interaction is really not as important anymore, because it could be argued we really don't need it anymore. You don't need to be in the presence of someone. Well, what I'm going to talk to you guys about here in just a couple minutes is actually the opposite of that. In my opinion, the live interaction is actually more important than ever. It's more valuable than ever. It is, in my opinion, the one piece that'll separate you from so many others. And just like it is valuable to you, your ability to interact with others will become even more valuable to them. So we'll get into that. But I want to start out the way I always start out, telling you all why it is we do what we do here on Tuesday nights. There's really two reasons. The big overriding reason, the big underlying reason, the big kind of aha for these Tuesday night calls is to teach you guys something. I mean, we genuinely want to give back. This is one of the few industries where you can give back in abundance. Can give back in tenfold, and never be worried about it. I mean, think about it. In so many industries, it's like it's a secret, right? Like if I'm a dry cleaner and I figured something out that's really cool, the last thing I'm going to do is like go to the dry cleaner across the street and tell him how it works. If I'm an engineer and I got some kind of a schematic, I'm putting it together, some kind of a design, some kind of a diagram. The last thing I'm going to do is, tell the other engineers about it. Really in any industry, collaboration or total openness is not only not warranted, it's many times it's actually discouraged. Not in real estate. As far as I can tell, as far as I've been able to look at it and analyze it for the years I've been in this business, this is one of the few industries where you want to encourage, you want to collaborate. You want to share. You want to contribute. Because in the end, it's just too big of an industry to worry about. People say, well, gosh, Pete, it could be saturated or this or that. Guys, I've been doing this for 20 years. I can't even saturate the street in front of me, much less, the whole real estate world. So you don't have to worry about saturation. But the other thing is the reason we want to teach you all is because it comes back in tenfold. What I give to one many times comes back tenfold from that one back to me. So I've never, ever been worried about sharing secrets or sharing strategies or sharing techniques. And so that's we're here to do that. We get some amazing feedback for those of y'all that listen in, whether you're listening in live or whether you're listening to one of our recordings posted somewhere throughout the internet after we do these. We've gotten some amazing feedback from people that have actually taken the things that we've showed them, that we've taught them, that we worked with them on through these interactions, and gone on and made a tremendous amount of money, done and done their thing. And some of you all fall into that category where all you want to do is you want to learn. You want to just learn what it is we know. The interesting thing to me, some of you all that just want to learn, what I realized is that a lot of people that just learn, they never even do anything. They just enjoy learning. I've ran into many people in this business that actually know this business better than I do. Amazing. Sometimes I'll be talking to someone and I'm scratching my head. I'm like, well, that went over my head. I'm like, wow, that was interesting. Didn't know that. And then it's well, talk about the last couple of deals you did. Oh, I'm not doing deals yet. I'm still learning. So people just love to learn, and that's great. Or some people like to take our information and actually go implement and do their own thing. And that's great too. Whatever we could be, however we could be helpful to you in your own endeavors, however we could be helpful to you in your own implementation, however we could be helpful to you in terms of you doing your own deals, we love it. We absolutely love it. So that's one of the kind of major reasons we do this, is to teach you all. The other reason we do this on TV is that we want to do more deals ourselves here. I mean, I've done this thing for 20 some years, well over 3,000 deals behind me, still doing tons and tons of deals. But I do them with partners now. I realized some time back that the ultimate way to build this business is doing it through partnerships. And guys, understand, I've done this business every single way you can imagine. I've structured deals every way you can imagine. Most of my 20-year career, though, I've been a lone wolf. And it's worked out well. Again, I've done very well, spread myself all over the place, done deals here in Georgia, done deals literally across the United States. But then the way this whole partnership thing came about, very interesting, is sometime back, I just realized I have to take my own game to the next level. I have to take my, step up my own performance. I want to be able to start doing more deals. And so when I started realizing that, well, how can I do more deals? And then I kind of just put some messaging out through social media that, hey, if anyone across the United States has any kind of deal out there that you need help with, get a hold of us, and then that whole business took a life onto its own. It became kind of you find it, we fund it. And it was great. We were doing deals with tons of people across the United States. But what started happening over a period of time, people started getting a hold of us, not with deals. They're like, this is really cool. We really like that there's like a so-called guru out there that'll actually put his money where his mouth is, that they'll actually help people, give them the money to buy the property, fix it and all this. But then people start coming back to us and say, well, can you help us find how to find this thing? There's a lot of things to be done in this whole business aside from just needing money. And that's when all the light bulbs. That's when I realized, you know what? The messaging has to be not like, hey, if you find a deal, call me. The messaging needs to be, if you need help finding the deal, help fixing the deal, help executing the deal, help selling the deal. Oh, and by the way, you use all my money to do it, then get a hold of me. And that's when this whole thing really took off and blew up, because then people got that message. And so now part of our Tuesday night calls is to connect with more potential partners across the United States. So when you do become one of our partners, that's exactly what we do. Number one, you're piggyback off my experience in the business, 20 some years. We coach you and mentor you through the process. We actually spend money in your local markets helping you find properties by doing research for you and things like that. You use all my money to buy it. You use all my money to fix it. My team helps you and I fix it. We sell it, we split the profits. And that right there is our partner-driven coaching program. And that is what we have now. That is the model that we run. That is the model everyone in my office operates under. And that is the model that is just, I think, changing this whole industry around across the board. So anytime for those of you that are ready to become one of our partners or want more information about how you can become one of our partners, anytime during the seminar, webinar tonight, or anytime ever, all you have to do is just go to www.coachingbypeter. Excuse me, www.coachingbypeter.com. You'll see a bunch of testimonials there. You'll see a bunch of people that we're doing this with. You'll see deals that we're doing. You'll see how the program works, how it's executed. Put your information in there. I'll come back to us. I'll actually personally touch base with you. We'll go over it, and we'll see if we're good for each other. And if we are, then we're going to go kill it. We're going to go out there, and we're going to make some things happen right in your own marketplace, okay? So that's www.coachingbypeter.com. All right, so let's talk about, for the next couple minutes, I want to talk to you guys about this topic that's really near and dear to my heart. And this is something that I've believed in literally when I got started 20 years ago. And I believe in it, believe it or not, even more today. And that is the ability to interact with somebody face to face, even though we're doing this electronically and you're seeing this whether you're live or take electronically. But in my opinion, the magic, the real relationships, the real the real deal making, the real ability to connect with people, the real ability to get commitments out of people, the real ability to finalize deals, the real ability to negotiate any aspect of real estate, it's still a people-driven business, which means it is still a face-to-face. And again, I know the world we live right now, it almost discourages that. You know, we talk about satellite offices, working from homes. You know, we talk about remote. We talked about the internet. We talked about AI. You know, we talk about almost everything we talk about, from how everything seems. We talk about technology. Almost everything we talk about, if you think about it, works against human interaction. You know, it's almost like you almost don't need to interact with things. I mean, look, I'm in my place downtown here, Atlanta, and literally everything I need to run my business is right here. I mean, literally, this is my telephone. I'm obviously talking to you all through my laptop screen. I could do it. I could do it out of this place right here. I could sit on this amazing patio right outside here, overlook the amazing view that I have, and literally just go to town. I could make calls from here. I could receive emails through here. I can get information through here. I can connect through my internet. I mean, it could be argued that I really do not need to interact with people to build this business. But guess what I do on a daily basis, guys? I'm meeting people. I literally leave, jump inside my car, and go somewhere to meet and interact with people. I could literally do that through this laptop. I could boot up Skype, you know, there's FaceTime out there. But I could tell you, in my opinion, there's nothing that substitutes the ability to look someone in the eye and connect with them. And so as some of y'all that are listening here, I'm sure our partners are ready. Some of y'all are thinking about becoming our partners. Some of y'all already made a decision. It's just a matter of time before you become our partners. And you will see I preach this message constantly. And I preach it now more than ever. So, you know, if you were kind of to think through this whole process, okay, let's just think through a deal. And, you know, sometimes people say, well, gosh, Pete, I want to do things remotely. I want to do things automatically. I want to do things virtually. But let me just tell you, let's just walk through a conventional real estate deal, and then we'll just compare the ability to do this, to do it live, face to face with someone, as opposed to do it virtually on the web. Okay? So let's just start from the beginning. What's the first thing you got to do? You got to find a deal, right? You got to be able to go out there and you got to market. Okay, now when it comes to marketing, we all know there's different techniques, there's different strategies, there's different ways of doing things, right? So let me just tell you the importance of why I feel this face-to-face is important right at the very get-go, the marketing piece. For instance, you know, I personally have spent easily seven figures into direct mail. Okay, 7 figures into it. And when you spend that kind of money over the amount of years I've done it, when you spend that kind of money, one thing you can do is you can command discounts, you can command price drops. If a typical mailer costs, let's say 50 cents, when you spend the kind of money that I've spent in the past in direct mail, really mine should cost somewhere in the 30 cents, just because of sheer volume. Now think about that. This example I'm going to give you. So I didn't even actually think it through until I started telling you the story. So I've been doing direct mail for years on end, spend well into 7 figures on it. But then all of a sudden, a while back, a couple of years ago, somebody shows up at our office, right? 15, 20 minutes down the road from here. They come to our office, they introduce themselves as a local printer, a local mail house. And make a long story short, they didn't even meet with me. They met with some member of my staff who happened to be there that day. And make a long story short, after a series of face-to-face meetings, now remember, I had tremendous amount of prominence in this industry. I mean, we were working with some of the biggest mail houses in the United States. But all of a sudden, after meeting with this local printer, a series of face-to-face meetings, we were able to cut our direct mail costs just like over 2 or 3 meetings, whatever we ended up having with this gentleman. We were able to back then cut our costs almost 15% because he saw us building, he saw the employees, he knew he can extend credit to a company like this. He wanted to be part of something big himself. He wanted to be noticed. He knew that when he was working with us, he was able to get referrals because we work with, we know a lot of people that we could refer to him. And that's really what happened over the years that we worked with each other. But that happened face to face. Okay. That happened literally face to face. So I think for those of you that are involved in some kind of marketing, whatever you're doing marketing, get together with your supplier, meet them, go have lunch, go have dinner with them. That people literally, I'm convinced more now than ever, people want to give you better service and they do want to do better work for you when they know you better. It's one thing for me to call on the phone and try to cut a deal with someone, which believe a lot of times I get it, has to happen. Not enough time, maybe the supplier doesn't live in your city. I get it. But I could tell you, it's our local people across the board, whatever service we get from them, it's our local people that seem to outperform the national players. And I could tell you the only thing that the big difference is the local people were able to sit down with them and interact with them. So all the way from marketing, no matter what kind of marketing you're doing, I think that face-to-face interaction is critical. Now let's talk about starting to do a deal, right? Let's say you're talking to a seller, right? And now, and for those of you all that are, and I'm going to hit on this here in a little bit here about this amazing weekend we just had with a number of you all, and I know a lot of people want to be here, not everyone could. But let's say you're negotiating with someone, right? And you hear it all the time. So many gurus talk about this now. Oh, you could just remotely negotiate. Oh, you could just go ahead and make an offer. Talk to somebody. Get on the computer, type in this, the whatever, and then just make an offer electronically to somebody. And boy, for those of you that were here this week and you heard me preach against that so much, guys, I will tell you without a shadow of doubt, if you're negotiating with someone, you're going to be 1,000,000 times more effective with them face to face. When we start out new partners, I tell them in the beginning, it's all about getting these face to face. Sometimes we'll get somebody who's like, hey, I think I got a deal. Oh, matter of fact, interestingly enough, just 10 minutes before I wanted this, I get a text from one of our partners, Cameron. Hey, Pete, I'm going to meet a homeowner in an hour. I'd love for you to speak with him if the situation arises. See, we taught Cameron, gosh, if you got somebody willing to sell, go see him. Not because we want you to waste your time with energy or wear and tear in your car or gas money. No, Because I know when Cam is sitting with his homeowner tonight, he's going to 10 times more effective with them face to face than he will over the phone. See, the thing that happens when you're face to face with someone, not only are you able to build a relationship with that person, but when it comes to like adversarial things, you know, and it could be argued, negotiations is like somewhat of an adversarial thing, right? You're kind of going to battle with somebody, right? See, the reason that we taught Cam and all our other partners across the United States that when I know sometimes it's impossible, sometimes you're working with out-of-state owners, sometimes you can't even talk to the seller because there's an intermediary. I get it. I'm just talking about in these cases where you can and the importance of doing things face to face. But the reason I want to be with somebody face to face, I'm able to get something there that I cannot get if I'm doing it over the phone. And what I'm able to get there when I'm doing something with someone face to face, I'm able to gauge their emotion. And let me tell you something, when I could see in their eyes their emotion, be a better negotiator. Because their emotion is going to tell me everything I need to know of where we stand on that deal. You know, for those of y'all that have seen me or heard me teach negotiations, you know, part of it, there's so much part of negotiations psychological. So much part of negotiations is saying the right thing at the right time. But such a huge part of negotiations is just simply watching the guy across the street, across the table from you, right? They're going to give it all away. You know, what I always say, if they're ready to kick you out the door, it means you're like way off on pricing. You better make an adjustment. If they start howling, if they start using terms like, well, I got to talk to my wife or talk to my partner or sleep on it, those are buying. I mean, those are like buying means you're in a ballpark. Okay. And a lot of times they're said in such an emotional way that you can't gauge it over the phone, but you could see it. So when you're negotiating, 99 out of 100 times, I will tell you, you're going to be a 10 times better negotiator when you're doing it face to face, right? Think about this. People inspect properties, right? Now think about it. Now remember, we're talking about the importance of doing something live as opposed to doing something not live, okay? Inspect the property, right? Think about this. How much more effective are you going to be when you're doing it live, actually on site? You know, sometimes people say, well, gosh, Pete, is there any other option? Yeah. You'd be shocked how many people I talk to on a daily basis, and they're trying to do deals with us. And I'm like, okay, what's the numbers? And they'll be giving me some numbers. And I'm like, well, what's the repair number? They're like, 40,000. I'm like, well, how'd you get it? Well, I went into Google Maps. I'm like, are you kidding me? They go, well, yeah, I mean, I'm doing things remotely. I'm doing things virtually. I'm doing this thing from my basement in my underwear. I'm thinking, dude, are you crazy? Like, you literally got on Google Maps, you know, thought you drove, you know, walked by that house. That image was probably made a year or 2 or 3 ago. And you want me to invest my money, something like that? See, some things are almost incomprehensible to think that people don't do. I mean, I've seen people get bids on properties, right? I've seen people get bids on properties. Let's say they're doing a deal an hour or 2 away, right? And they're getting numbers for us, right? And, you know, the numbers come back. And I'm like, well, how'd you get your numbers? And they'll be like, well, I put an ad on Craigslist that for $25, I would pay somebody to go inside that property and take some pictures. And they email me the pictures, Pete. And I think that, you know, like, really? I mean, there's some things that you cannot substitute doing it live as opposed to doing it not live. Now, I understand also sometimes doing it live does not necessarily do it live. Like, I guarantee you the last 1,000 or maybe even 1,500 properties that I've done or deals that I've done that needed work done to them, I did not live go inside of them to do a repair estimate for 2 reasons. One, I don't know how to do it. I don't even know how much a lead ball costs. So that's not my skill set. But number 2, I've developed a trusted team around me that's able to do those things. Okay? So live sometimes might not mean you live. Live sometimes mean a member of your team live that has the ability to get out there and do something, right? closing. I mean, I could tell you as far as closings go, somebody needs to be representing you live. Now, that live could be like we do it in our office. I have a full-time closer, Mary. She reviews all the paperwork once it gets issued. She makes sure all the T's are crossed, all the I's are dotted, and then the paperwork actually is electronically gotten over to us, and it's signed in our offices and gotten back to her. But it's done in a very live type of an environment, okay? I will also tell you that although I discourage sellers, that we as investors go to too many live closings, I've actually changed my mind about that. Now, our new partners that are doing like their first or second deals, I'm actually encouraging that they do show up at that first one or two closings. One, just to introduce themselves. But two, it's amazing how many things can happen at a closing. I don't mean bad things. I mean like good things. Like you're sitting across the table, let's say from an elderly couple that you're doing the deal with, and unbeknownst to you, they held another 5, 10 properties they didn't even tell you about because they wanted to mentally make sure that you can close them. This initial property, and all of a sudden you're live at the closing table and you start talking to them. Next thing you know, it's like, wow, there's other opportunities here. I think going to the first 1 or 2 or 3 closings live is a good idea to get to know your closing attorneys, to get to know your closing agents. So I think that's very important. Now think about this. You're picking out a real estate agent, right? Let's say you're looking for a real estate agent that's going to find properties for you, okay? Again, that is something I'm going to meet with that person and I want to stare into their eyeballs and I want to talk to them. But the reason I want to do that, let's say if I'm working with a real estate agent, why do I want to meet a real estate agent live? One very, very simple reason. I want them to have confidence in me also. So a lot of times the reason you want to do things live, it's not just so you have confidence in the other person, which is important. It's not just so you could actually do something, which is important. But the reason that you want to do things live with people so they have confidence in you. See, when somebody meets me, a real estate agent meets me, let's say a new real estate agent, or maybe I need a couple new agents, right? And I'm meeting with them. One way, I could do it like this. I could just call them up. Hey, so-and-so, this is what I do. And that I'm not saying that doesn't work, and especially at my level, it works because I'm very easy to check out for people. So when I tell an agent I can close on the property, they're not immediately like, oh man, I wonder if this is another guy that can't close on a property. They Google my name, a million things show up. Obviously, I'm an investor. They have confidence in me, right? But until you get to that point, the way to exude confidence or the way to bestow confidence in someone is to meet them live, right? And again, even at my level, I still meet people live because I do want them to get confidence in me. I want them to gain confidence I want to gain confidence in them. And the other thing I realized when you're doing things live, this is like something that I realized over many years. People tend to be more honest with you for some reason. You're like, when you're doing things on a phone or doing things electronically, sometimes people are trying to get off the phone. Sometimes people are trying to portray themselves to be something they're not. But like when you're sitting and you're looking at someone's eyes, probably that real estate agent is not going to tell you face to face. They could, but what I realize, not as many, will tell you that they've done 1,000 deals with investors. If you're sitting with them at a Starbucks, ouch, oh, sorry, I hit myself. If you're sitting with them at a Starbucks across, the table with them, as opposed to you just email them, hey, have you done deals? Oh yeah, I've done tons and tons of deals, okay? People actually get to, there's more honesty there. The other thing when you're meeting with all of these, again, we're just kind of walking through a deal. The other thing that happens when you're meeting with people live is you're setting yourself apart from everyone else. Because again, the world we live in right now, the environment we're living right now, it all discourages that. So when all of a sudden a real estate agent gets calls from 20 investors, and they're like, hey, find me a deal, or give me your first deal, or give me your pocket listings, or put me on an A list. And they're like, yes, I'll do it, click, 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 click. And all of a sudden they get a call from me, and I'm like, hey, let's get together. Let me buy a cup of coffee. Let me buy you breakfast or lunch. I immediately set myself apart from everyone else. because people still value, without even realizing it, they value that face-to-face interaction. So now all of a sudden they get a pocket listing, right? Where they get some kind of a great deal. Do you really think they're going to call the guy that called them 4 weeks ago that they had a 3-minute conversation over the phone that claimed that he could buy, that claimed he had money? Or are they going to call someone like me who's taking the time to buy him some coffee, buy him a lunch, buy him a breakfast, built a relationship, send him a thank you card when we got done meeting, checked in with him the next week, took notes during the meeting. So when I checked in with them, I asked them how their kid's baseball game was, because that's what they told me when I talked to them. And all of a sudden, we have a relationship that we're building. And all of a sudden, they do get that one deal, right? They do get that one deal. And all of a sudden, they're deciding, because I'm not the only guy that can close. I'm not the only guy that has money. I'm not the only guy that can move quickly. I'm not the only guy that can buy with no contingencies. There's not the only guy out there that does this. But what I am, one of the few people that values that live face-to-face interaction. Still the guy that values those relationships. So when the right thing happened, guess what? Boom. Hey, Pete, I got something. Talk about contractors. It is amazing to me how many people I talk to that have literally never taken the time to really sit down and talk to their contractors. Here's how they work. They get a property under contract. They start going to town. They start calling, dialing for dollars, getting 2 or 3 contractors out there, reviewing the bid, evaluating the bid, awarding the job. Then they find another property, an hour or 2 away, same process, get a bid, get 2 or 3 bids, review the bids, make some changes, interact on all this. Man, we sit down and we literally spend, hours with our contractors, building relationships, not even contractor related. I'll tell you what happened last night, or actually the night before. I was talking to one of my partners in a different part of it, and we have an amazing contractor there. I mean, just absolutely amazing contractor there. And I told my local partner, hey, listen, pick out a weekend in the next month or so, you and the contractor, we're going to meet in Vegas. We're going to spend a weekend there. I'm going to pay for the contractor's flight. I'm going to pay for the contractor's hotel room. I'm going to pick up his expenses. Let me tell you something. Talked about it a night or 2 ago, but something like that is like beyond what contractors get picked up or get flown out to Vegas for a weekend. Think about that. Now that'll cost me, obviously, I don't know, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. But this is a contractor that's done well over 30 jobs for us last year. This is a contractor that's always come in on time, on budget. Whenever the issues in the back end, he always fixes them. You know how much money that contractor, how much loss of sleep, how much stress he saved us here? Well over $3,000 or $4,000. But I promise you, when I spend a whole weekend with him in Vegas, and we have that live interaction, it's not even the fact that I'm picking up the expenses. Okay, that's not the big issue. I mean, that's like the cherry on top. It's the fact that I'm going to invest my time into him for the weekend. It's the fact that I'm going to show him appreciation. Guess what? A good contractor every day, when they're doing jobs and people drive by their properties and it's obvious they're doing a good job, guess what happens? Investors stop by. I know without a shadow of doubt, he probably gets approached every week about, hey, will you do something for me? Will you do something for me? Guess what? They're loyal to us. They're loyal to us because we have relationships with them. All right. And I can go on and on and on. I'll tell you something amazing that just happened here a couple of days ago here with us. We had about 3 dozen of our partners fly in from all over the United States, and we spent a weekend with them. And it was amazing. These are the partners that some of them we were doing deals with, some of them we had done deals with, some of them we haven't even done a deal with yet. But the whole point was this. We wanted to teach them. We wanted to, Spent from my end, it was very simple. There was only one mission: build a relationship. That's all it was. There was one mission. I just wanted to build a relationship with these people because I knew that when they understood our level of commitment, our level of dedication, and I could see their level of commitment and their level of dedication, I knew that our chances of long-term play, our chances of doing more deals, our chances of becoming beyond just partners, but actually friends went skyrocketing. I mean, it's always amazing to me how, like, whenever we do these live, those of you that are our partners and you weren't able to make it, don't worry. We're going to have another one on April 27th. So please, please, please book it. Book it. Matter of fact, I know Rafa will flash the page, but you can go ahead and register as early as tonight, I believe. You just simply go to coachingbypeter.com/live. But our next live event is going to be April 27th and 28th, I guess. And it's going to be amazing. But it's amazing. It's amazing during these weekends when people come in, like on a Friday night or Saturday morning, and we see them for the first night or for the first day, and what happens when they leave just 48 hours later. You come in with a handshake, you leave with a hug. And why does that happen? I mean, why does that take place? Because it's that live interaction. See, I could tell them things live that's very hard for me to say over the phone. I could say them, but it's a lot more, it's like you get tighter when you're like, it's like marriage, right? I mean, how many people have been married virtually? It doesn't work, right? I mean, it's like if you're going to get married, you got to connect, right? Well, to a degree, that's what I'm talking about here tonight. It's the same kind of thing. I mean, this last weekend was absolutely amazing. Okay, we spent a huge portion of our time teaching. I mean, we taught them, and they were sat right in our offices, our building. We had our employees stop by throughout the weekend, so they got to meet people that are behind the scenes working for them. They got to meet people that are doing deals with them, that are putting contracts out for them, that are skip tracing for them, that are pulling lists for them, that are helping them negotiate. So it was a tremendous amount of that. It's like we're taking to the next level. I was teaching for 4 or 5 hours. Julie was teaching for hours. Our employees are up there. Guess what? The level of commitment from everybody went up. The word that we learned this weekend was reset. And it was such a cool word to me, reset, right? And the whole point was very simple. No matter where you are in your career, no matter where you are in your real estate, no matter how many deals you have or have not done, no matter where you want to be or aren't yet, just reset. And people got it. I mean, I could preach that message tonight, and it's, I think, a great message. But I know I had a greater impact because as the weekend went on, people kept coming up to me, reset. A couple people wrote me some personal notes about how they're resetting and the commitments they're making. Man, that's because it was live. Because, we could see it, feel it, touch it. We saw emotions. Then that Saturday night, remember, April 27th, guys, just go ahead and make the commitment to be here. If you're our partner across the United States, $0 charge, of course. But just go ahead and make a commitment. It's going to be amazing. But then Saturday night, we all went to my lake house. And it's really, and almost everybody ended up going. And so we had all these people, but the thing that happened Saturday night, we had some weather here in Georgia and Atlanta specifically. And so because of the weather, bad weather, it was pouring rain. If you're at the lake house, you kind of want to go outside. You have this huge wraparound porch. I got a boat parked down there in front of this gorgeous 200-mile of lakes right in front of me. But it was raining, so nobody got to see the boat. Nobody got to enjoy the patio, the wraparound porch. It didn't matter, man. It didn't matter. Everybody was inside, and we were just talking. We were laughing. We were having some cocktails. A couple of people outside had some cigars in the covered up area. And I could just tell you, commitment level higher. Our partners, commitment level higher. I mean, again, so I don't need to do these lives again. We don't even make money. We cost more money. You know, we bring our partners in, but we don't charge them anything. It costs me thousands and thousands of dollars putting these on, but that's not why we do them. It's not because of that. We do them because I know after doing this for 20 some years that when you do things live and you do things face to face, you're a lot more effective in every aspect of this business. Whether you're negotiating with a contractor, whether you're negotiating with a seller, whether you're building a relationship with a contractor, a real estate agent, a closing agent, a seller, a buyer, or a partner. You're a lot more effective when you have the ability to interact in a live environment. That's why even we here locally in our little world still interact with each other. You know, last weekend, I believe, or last Saturday or something, you know, I went hung out with the guys that make all this stuff happen behind the scenes. Okay. The guys that do our websites, the guys that whose forms you guys fill out, the guys that track everything, kind of the magic. So I went to hang out with, you know, Rafa and Chelsea. Why? Because that interaction, that face-to-face interaction gets everybody to the next level, no matter where the level is. So guys, we want to interact with you more live also. Number one, remember, register April 27th, 28th, make the commitment to be here. You're going to absolutely love it. But remember, guys, I want more partners. I mean, it's just, that's what it is. I mean, I want more partners. We're excited about having our current partners, but I want to do more. We're stronger because when we have more partners, we're more capable of handling more partners. Everything that revolves around about our partner-driven coaching. So if you want to learn how to find incredible real estate deals right in your own marketplace, utilize my money to actually help you find these deals. Use my money when you want to buy these properties. Use my money to fix them. Use our help to help you fix them. Then we sell them and split the profits. They need to be part of our partner-driven coaching program. Two ways of doing that. One, you can call me directly at area code 404-915-9685. That's 405-915-9685. Or go to our website at www.coachingbypeter.com. But it's guys, I enjoyed this. Now, I know there's a lot of times there's some questions that come up. I'm not sure how to access them. I don't know if Rafa, you could hear me. If there are any questions, here. If there are any questions that I need to answer, or you were able to answer them all right there on the screen. Anyway, I assume there are no questions, or not, or at least if there were, I assume they got answered. Hey guys, I love these Tuesday nights. We're considering about possibly still, obviously we're going to continue doing this. We might change the time frame to do it during the day. And those of you that are part of our Facebook group, and you know which one of you are, there's actually a poll in there tonight that you need to go there and vote if you'd like to do it at a better time or not. So guys, I loved it. I enjoyed it. I hope you all have an amazing rest of the week. I know there's a number of partners that are on here tonight. I'm sure we'll be talking to you all. And farewell. See you guys. Bye.